Well, since Anissa and Anissa's husband haven't decided to make a video in the past few days and address the drama of shit that's been shoveled at their feet, well, but they have posted pictures showing that they're happy on vacation. They're happy guys. They've never had a happier time in life. Who cares if they've ripped people off? They're happy. Anyway, since they haven't addressed any of that stuff publicly, we'll talk about something a bit more serious here. Now, a lot of people have asked me to talk about the situation with ICE. If you know what ICE is, it's primarily a wing of the government that goes after arresting illegals in this country, or people being seen as illegal. You don't even have to outright know the person's legal. You report them and they can get arrested when then they have their day in court. It's like, oh, you weren't illegal. Okay, you can go back out now. Anyways, this has been taken up a notch or two, if you will, specifically in Los Angeles, California, where ICE raids have been taking people left and right. One of the popular places to find illegals are Home Depots, from what I hear. A lot of like day laborers that are not legal immigrants will hang out at something like that. Like if you need them to help you out on a job site or something like that. Anyways, that's just what I hear goes on. That's one of the examples. I'm just giving you an example here. Now, some of you out there, just to give you a heads up, you might not like every single aspect of how I perceive this, but I want to just put my voice out there and my perspective as I feel a lot of other people do have this perspective, or they don't have a full understanding of what exactly is going on, or at least how I see it's going on. Feel free to tell me how it is going on if you differ. Anyway, look. If you're not here legally, you take a chance. It's a occupational hazard, if you will, for lack of a better term. If you're not here legally, you take a chance of getting snatched up off the street in front of your family, etc., etc. The one thing that I don't like about this is the whole thing that I kind of alluded to a little bit in the beginning is you could be alerted to ICE as being an illegal, but you're actually not, and you get this whole hassle of being abducted at your job site in front of your family, what have you. So far, there's been a number of instances where ICE has detained individuals that were fully documented. How this cannot be searched properly before an actual raid carries out is beyond me. This should be something that should be very easy to do. If just, I don't know, Enrique, Jorge, whatever, is being part of this raid today, run his name. But then there's a number of times where they've shown that these individuals that are getting arrested are in fact here legally. You know, getting arrested like on your job site or taken in front of your family is a very traumatic event. And, you know, there could be any number of ramifications that come from that. So my one major criticism of ICE is they got to be sure. They got to be sure. If you're going to be conducting business the way that you are as an organization that is supposed to be rounding up illegals, you got to be sure who you're getting is legit. Now, as for the people that are taken legitimately, that are illegals, that are a threat to domestic security, anything like that, like if they find out someone's here legally, but they were a member of any sort of gang or something in South America or whatever, you know, at least bringing them into questioning to see if they do have gang ties or something like that, or they're starting a sleeper cell of a very vicious gang from a South American country. Like, I don't necessarily see that much of a problem with that. Again, if you're here illegal, you run the chance of getting apprehended. There is due process and procedure in this country that immigrants should follow. I often tell you guys, my grandmother came here with her parents from the Soviet Union. They came here through right process and procedure, and I don't think like a lot of people out there have anyone that they fully know either in their family or friends that just understand how they got here through legitimate means. Like when you hear someone say like, oh, my people came from the old country. Yeah, in what, 1802? Have you talked to anyone that has come here that in their own actual living lifetime. Like, not that it makes, I'm not trying to sound just boisterous and say like my opinion means a lot more, but I really think it helps understanding if you understand fully what the proper process and procedure to get in this country, because it has been tweaked over the years, but for the most part, it has been the same in that you gotta come here the right way. Now, I also understand that if ICE continues on the track that they're going, individuals like myself and yourself will suffer for any number of peripheral reasons. I'll bring up a simple example. Like, I like going to Costco and getting a quart-sized container of strawberries for $5. You've got to be kidding yourself if you don't think industries like any sort of like fruit picking or just day laboring jobs like that aren't heavily subsidized by just workers that come over and are taken by these farmhands and whatevers and put in the fields to work. Everyone in this country benefits from this stuff in one way or another. And honestly, prices are as cheap as they are because, let's be real, illegal labor is used to help bring these costs down. If ICE got its way and Donald Trump got his way of getting all these illegal immigrants out of the country and they all became actual on-the-book wage earners, the farming industry would be significantly different. Significantly different. The farmers would be paying out significantly more. If it got all of a sudden flipped in a matter of a season or two of crop harvesting, the farmers would be paying out significantly more if they weren't paying under-the-table wages, which, again, are under minimum wage. But hey, these people are willing to come over and work it. That American dollar goes a lot more in that country they're coming from. They send those stipends back home to their mothers and children, etc. You know, these people are willing to do this. You may say it's backbreaking labor. You may say it's underhanded tactics by these farm owners, the whatevers, the industries that employ them, and it goes much beyond just picking berries in a field. There's any number of industries. I'm just using that as a prime example here. You got to be kidding if you think that like your ICE is going to clean up all the illegal immigrants, build the walls on the borders, and everything is going to be so much better. You are going to suffer in a lot of ways. I understand people are fearful of undocumented killers coming over that are murderers, etc. I get that fear. I understand that is a legitimate fear. But also, man, the people that come over, they help keep shit cheap in this country too. Let's be real. Now, as far as what is going on specifically in Los Angeles with the rioting and stuff like that, I think all you're doing is giving Trump nothing more than what he wants. He wants to see anarchy. He wants to see a liberal town torn to pieces. He wants to see people getting arrested left and right. It's a social media age. There's any number of footage angles from every single incident that's going on. The mayor is even saying how what's going on is wrong, that the DAs are going to be pressing charges against everyone. You know, what does Trump have to lose in this? More nudniks get arrested on his watch. That's all he cares about. He's going to see more undesirables getting arrested on the streets. All the people waving the Mexican flags, Guatemalan flags, etc., like that you see. Like I'm saying, I'm not necessarily thrilled with seeing these people get arrested, but I can tell you Trump is. That his administration is, absolutely. All the people setting cop cars on fire and getting arrested and gave Trump what he wants. Those cop cars can be replaced. That guy's ass is going to rot in jail that set it on fire. Congrats. Anyway, I understand the frustration, and the thing is I only have so much sympathy for someone that's here illegal and that gets caught. Can the raids be done better? Yes. Can they be done in more a secure way? Yes. But there's incidents where someone was in court and had their charges dismissed and ICE arrests them because they want to charge them with something else the second the court case was over. I mean, what are we doing here? The thing that I don't personally like about this is, again, the one thing that I feared once Trump got elected is that we were going to head towards authoritarianism. And it isn't so much that ICE only goes after individuals that are seen as undocumented workers, but it's just that, like, you can report on someone. And if they feel the suspicion is strong enough, ICE will then go out and arrest an individual because it was reported that this person is such and such. Had ties to this and that. This is equivalent to the people being reported in Soviet Russia for being anti-communist. You could call your neighbor and say, like, oh, they're showing very capitalistic ways and they support Ronald Reagan and stuff like that, and they get arrested. Just because your neighbor didn't like you. You're taking a step closer getting to the Soviet Union with the way that ICE is conducting business and being warranted in their ways to conduct business. So there's a lot more to this, guys, than just looking at it as like, oh, ICE is just doing their job. Sit there and accept it and not having any sympathy for every single person. And so many people just are like, I wish they would build a wall and keep everyone in Mexico on that side of the border, stuff like that. Like, you have no understanding how much worse your life would be in certain aspects. Like, yes, less fentanyl will come in, less chance of murderers coming in, but guess what? There's still going to be drugs here. There's still going to be people that kill. Will it be as much? Probably not. But are you also willing to pay a lot more for certain items? Because, again, I think people are just delusional in the understanding of what illegal workers actually do in this country. I know people are just so like, oh, well then, if they come here legally, they get to be on the books, they get to be taxpayers, they get to earn a minimum wage. But, yeah, well, guess what? A lot of farmhands ain't looking to hire minimum wage work. They're looking to hire under the table work. Okay, maybe not a lot is the wrong word, because there's a lot, obviously, farm businesses that conduct their business with zero illegal workers. And honestly, if you really, really, really want to cut down on the number of these illegal day laborers, punish the people in charge of these farms and businesses that bring them in. Make it a felony. If you hire any sort of illegal immigrants and they do any sort of work for your industry, whoever is in charge, immediate felony charge, 5-year minimum in jail, do something like that. But they don't, because that hurts Americans, people that are already on the books. They'd rather hurt the peons that aren't going to make a lot of fuss and be able to afford a lawyer, etc., etc. We all know how that goes. The poor get pissed on. That's pretty much what the crux of the matter is here. But yeah, again, you're never going to see it be a thing like, okay, well, just anyone that owns a business that brings in illegals, okay, whoever's in charge of that business, immediate felony charge. I'm not going to see that. But would that stop it? Yes, absolutely. You think any of these white-collar, Jim Joe, whoever's that are in charge of these businesses that hire illegal workers want to go to jail? Hell no. Anyway, I just think there's a lot more to this that people aren't considering. I wanted to give a larger spectrum of what is going on here. Do I agree with these ICE raids? Yes and no. Like I said, you got to make for damn sure. I got to stop hearing that this guy and that girl are arrested and they ended up being completely legit and making a show out of it. It's just like, I feel like they're doing this to antagonize the public, and getting the riots in Los Angeles is just giving this current regime what they want. They want to see complete mayhem. They want Trump to be able to say, look, we're going to send in the National Guard. Gavin Newsom, I don't care what you want. I'm sending the guards in anyway. Suck my balls. Anyway, and I know people are going to also know that California has certain protection laws. Why am I forgetting the exact sector of the asylum laws, where the local police do not have to aid in ICE raids, where some states they don't have firm asylum laws. The local police actually have to assist ICE in these raids. So now ICE acts alone in a place like California because they have these specific asylum laws that help protect individuals, even if they're illegal. But now with the National Guard in, they're following the federal mandate of the guy in charge. So it's like you're getting more National Guard under the control of Trump than you are in police in certain precincts right now. So again, it's kind of clear what is going on here. Trump wants to have an autocracy control of a city that has specific laws that he doesn't agree with these asylum laws. And he's watching the city burn. And again, these raids are in my heart of hearts, these raids are intentionally done to piss off the public to the point that they are flipping cars, burning buildings, etc. What you're seeing right now. And if you're doing that and you're condoning that, you're doing no more than what Trump wants. That's what I truly feel. You can disagree with that or whatever. The comment section's for. Anyway, what say you guys about all the ICE raids and the rioting in Los Angeles and all that? Again, a lot more people are getting locked up now for breaking the law, along with the people getting arrested by ICE. So I don't know what's really getting accomplished that's good here. If someone can explain to me, other than showing that you can voice out against, I love freedom of speech and being able to speak out. But man, I just see this as things are just so far on the negative end of things right now. And again, people are going to be like, well, you're just some Caucasian suburban guy. You will never relate to the plight of brown people. Okay, if you want to take that stance, that's fine. But don't tell me some of my direct relatives didn't come here from a foreign country and that I don't understand what that means, because I've talked with my grandmother about that a lot of times, because she came from a place that she was so grateful that her and her parents got out of. So I can at least relate to things on that end, even though I personally obviously didn't come from Russia. But I at least knew someone near and dear in my life that did. I don't know. I guess I'm grasping for sympathy points here, I guess. People are going to say that. Anyway, time for your thoughts now. That is all.